I'm Dave Poland. I want to welcome you to Portland Film Beat. Tonight, my guest is Greg Kerr, and he's one of the managers at Full Brain Films. We're going to talk about his web series, Exceptionals. Welcome on board.
Great, thanks
you,
David.
Greg. Yeah. What first got you interested in film?
Well, I've been doing film for a long time, but the fact that I had access to my father's 8mm camera when I was a little kid was one of the first things that got me interested in it. But I've been interested in film since I've been seeing movies, and I've always wanted to do that, make a story visually.
Okay.
And I've been fortunate that I've been able to do it.
Did you get professional training, or you just learned as you went
Well,
along?
I've mostly learned as I've done it, because I predate digital work, and it's phenomenal.
Digital changed it all.
Oh
It
yeah,
made it easier.
it's so much so. And but I've actually edited film by cutting and splicing and that sort of thing. But I have some training just by being mentored by people, on industrials, but most of the stuff I've learned with digital work has been on my own.
How many films have you made?
I've made, well, lots of short films. I don't even remember the number of them, but as far as longer films, 4 long films, 1 feature film that I've actually put out there, and then this web series that we're working on, which feels like at least a feature film, but more than that.
We'll get into that.
Yeah.
Why the name Full Brain Films?
One of the other members of the company, Carla Mason, who's a phenomenal actress.
Oh, I know
too.
who she is.
Yeah, she
was actually in one of your films, Wrong Room.
She was in Wrong Room and in Unremembered,
okay.
Which was the feature film that I did. Carla and I were sitting around talking about ideas for names, and I was throwing out a lot of ideas, and she said, "Ugh, my brain is full." And I said, "Oh, wait." And she's like, "Yeah, Full Brain Films." So we kind of hit on the idea together.
Well, see, I relate to that because my brain is full, but it's full of all kinds of voices that are arguing with each other most of the time. Yeah,
so. And I like the concept of Full Brain Films because, it's like there's a lot of different ideas there, and there's a lot of different, and we do a lot of different genre type work, so, it all kind of fits together. We do science fiction, drama, we've even done documentary work. So.
Well, up there, when they show the subtitle for your name there, it's got fullbrainfilms.com, and I really suggest to the audience that you go out there and look at that. I mean, he's got a lot of good stuff going on out there. Tell us about Exceptionals. The premise, where'd you come up with the idea?
Exceptionals is about 12 years in the making. The premise for the first part, the web series is about individuals who have exceptional abilities. And it's a superhero story, but it's a little more subtle than the typical superhero. It's superheroes who have genetic oddities, and they don't even see them really as superpowers in a lot of ways, or they don't even understand them fully, and then they begin to learn and grow into them.
Oh, cool.
And it's a drama, and it's a relationship story about these characters dealing with each other. But there's science fiction elements in it. There's superhero, and I call it superhero realism because it's about real people who have unusual abilities.
Special abilities.
Yeah, that they sort of learn about and try to figure out as they go along.
Right. Okay. Wow. So, how did you develop the storyline? How many episodes have you actually written or gotten prepared?
Wow. Yeah. So
you don't have to.
A lot. We've come up with about 7 seasons worth of concepts.
How many episodes a season?
We are somewhere in between 12 and 16 episodes a season.
So you're talking
but we haven't written it.
Like
I mean, it's outlined.
80. Well, no, if you've got the treatments for it, 80 of them.
Well.
Something like that.
Roughly like that, but again, it's mostly outlined. But we do have full scripts for probably about 10 or 12 episodes.
Nice
And
job.
we've done 4 of them so far. So we're looking to get investment to continue this, but the first 4 episodes are the origin story of one of the first characters we're rolling out, and it's the character Bryn Van Ness, played by Marisa Portalance.
You're looking for people who would like to be involved financially. Right
Absolutely.
there, you see that camera?
Absolutely.
Look at it. Tell them to go to your website. Can you bring up that? There it is, right there. That's
yeah, go to. I feel like it's a telethon now. Go to our website, donate. No. We're looking for. Not only are we looking for people to invest financially in the project. We're looking for distribution, and we're looking for people to invest creatively in the project too, writers, and we're looking for an illustrator to do some graphic novelization of some of the episodes, because some of them lend themselves very well to that type of story. So that's kind of what we're looking for, and I'd love to get some people contacting me about that.
Look at fullbrainfilms@gmail.com, and Greg would love to hear from you and
Absolutely.
talk to you about being a part of his creative process.
You bet, absolutely. Yeah, feel free to contact me at that email address. Check our website out, and there's on the contact page it tells you what we're specifically looking for right now. But writers, we do need some actors coming up, and we also are looking for an illustrator. So,
right, and financial support.
And financial support too.
The main one. Can't forget that.
Financial support from viewers like you.
We're on public access, maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe
oh,
make
that's right.
it real.
This isn't public TV, it's public access.
Okay, how do you work with the actors?
I hope well, but
I'll have to ask Jan that question.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I love working with actors. We filmed last night, in fact, and we're going to be filming again next weekend. And I'll be filming with Jan and Laura Faye Smith next weekend. That's the best part for me about directing, is working with the actors. And these are the most wonderful actors I've ever worked with. It has been a pure joy working with these actors. They are brilliant. And I just want to mention some names.
I want you to.
Marisa Portelance plays the lead character in the first 4 episodes, and she's brilliant. Absolutely
we'll see the trailer.
brilliant.
You'll see her
She's amazing. There's Christina Haddad, who plays the primary villain in the first 4 episodes. Again, a brilliant actress and an acting teacher in town too. Jan Brem plays in this. Jan Brem isn't in the first 4 episodes, but we're doing sneak previews of coming episodes, and she'll be in those. Laura Faye Smith plays one of the antagonists, not really a villain, but an antagonist in the first 4 episodes. And oh boy, I don't want to forget anybody.
If you
Nicole Chafin is
you can say their name later.
One of the lead characters.
You can throw it out there later.
Yeah,
this is an easygoing show.
Yeah. Nicole Chafin, who's a singer, beautiful singing voice, who has a singing number in the show.
Oh, okay, good.
We're doing that too. Tony Mercandani, he's an actor from Los Angeles that we brought in, who's also from India, who's pretty well known in the Bollywood circles. He plays one of the primary characters in the first 4 episodes also. So it's a great group.
How do you work with the cinematographer for that?
Well, I probably am more specific about what I want. I don't know if I'm more so than most directors or not. I usually come in with a fairly detailed shot list. And
you do get a shot list. I'm glad to hear that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Everything is, I'm very much into planning and planning everything out.
If you plan it out, then you're ready when plan B has to be taken.
You bet. And I have the clipboard and the pen, and I scratch it off as we go along, and it goes so much nicer.
Well, we're going to watch the trailer in a second. What camera did you use to shoot the trailer? Because the cinematography, the images
Two different ones, actually. The red.
Yeah, I could tell.
Sean Brown was our director of photography on about half of the shots we use, and he uses a red Scarlet. I think that's the right one that he was using on that. And then we also, in India, we use the Canon C100. And I primarily did a lot of the shooting after we got back from India last year, and the C100 is what I primarily been using, but they're both beautiful. Well, and when you surround yourself with India, it makes it even better. Yeah.
Right now, what we're going to do is we're going to cut to the trailer and watch it, and we'll talk about the trailer. We'll be right back.
I get these migraines. I started having them in my sleep. They give me dreams. And in my dreams, I see things that eventually happen in real life.
You mean you can see the future in your dreams?
I couldn't warn her. I had been having dreams about Varanasi, and I knew that I had to come here.
And so you came halfway around the world to learn more about the disability of yours?
Yes.
visions in her new book, Future Certain. So do you think most people believe in your visions?
No, not at all. I mean, I wouldn't if somebody just said that to me out of the blue.
I'm sorry to bother you. You don't know me.
Bryn Vanessa, that prophecy lady. I want some answers from you.
It doesn't work like that.
You know everything. Or you will know everything when you sleep. If you really could see the future, why couldn't you see this coming?
Federal agents!
Are you the one who's going to kill me?
Okay, the images, like I said, you know, I'm glad that people got to see that because that was phenomenal.
Yeah.
You shot in how many locations?
We shot in
Portland, Oregon.
We spent a lot in Portland, Oregon. The majority in Portland, Oregon. But Varanasi, India, we spent 3 weeks.
You can tell.
About
Yeah,
there.
that was really cool.
And we also did a little in Agra, India, which is where the Taj Mahal is. So we filmed at the Taj Mahal.
Did you
which
really?
Yeah, it's not entirely kosher to film, but with the small camera that we had, it looked like a still camera.
Did you steal a location, dude?
We maybe a little bit. Yeah.
Oh no, you can't do that as a filmmaker. As an indie, yeah, that's okay.
Well, I hope we don't get busted from the Indian officials, but I doubt that will happen.
I don't think so.
And it's really brief there anyway. But we did quite a bit in Varanasi, India, which was just beautiful to film there. And then Las Vegas, we went 2 times to Las Vegas and did a lot of scenes
Did you take
there.
the actors, the crew with you, or were you just the
Yes.
whole crew yourself?
Well, no, we brought crew with us there, and actually a couple of the actors played double duty.
And they have to.
And it's because this is an indie project, and yeah, and it's wonderful when they do that too. So we had brought primarily actors with us to those locations, and then some crew, and then as we've gone along on it, the crew we seem to get smaller and smaller because our budgets, we're kind of out of money already on this, but we were able to complete all of the scenes and the production is done for the first 4 episodes. We're calling the first 4 episodes the pilot episodes, and they are the complete part 1 story, which is there. It was written originally, incidentally, as a feature film, the first part, and then they were going to be a series of feature films, but instead we decided, well, let's go for a web series because it really lends itself to that.
Right.
So the first 4 are the origin story of the Bryn Vanessa character, and she's a character played by Marisa Portelance, who is able to see...
She helped write it too, though, right?
Yeah, would say that again.
She helped write that?
Yes, she helped write. Yeah, Marisa was phenomenally talented. She helped write the character in the story, and she's actually much more helpful editing too. She's great at saying what will work and what won't work, and I love to surround myself with actors who are willing to give me that kind of input on the script. It's so helpful.
Good. So what are, okay, here's the thing, is where do you plan on showing the web series? Where's it going to be?
Well, we've debated.
Not YouTube or
Well,
Vimeo?
we might, with the first 4 episodes, we may just release those freely.
So you can draw attention.
Exactly. And the goal is to get investment, distribution, some combination of that to continue the series. And along with releasing those first 4 episodes, we're also going to release what I'm calling sneak previews of the next several episodes. And we've shot, it almost feels like that's a little film in itself, but so there's the next part takes it follows Jan Brem's character, the lead villain in the story. The Bryn Vaness character has the ability to see the future. Well, Jan's character has the ability to read people's minds, and
oh my God! So she can read the mind of somebody who knows the future.
Exactly. Yeah, that's
we won't
part
go any
of
further,
the.
But
yeah, you can see where that. Yeah,
that's
yeah,
just a
yeah.
great little bit lead into the story. I think you're not giving too much
Absolutely.
away, but
yeah,
that's
no,
awesome.
it's good. It's good, and well, we have another character who can breathe underwater, but she also regenerates. Not
The
so over the
Wolverine.
top, not that much, but just a little bit of regeneration. But she has.
Boy, I wish I could do that now.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Once you get past 50, man, I want to regenerate.
Wait, we should have a character to reverse age. Yeah, there we go. I'll think about that.
Yeah, a whole new series,
Yeah,
actually.
exactly.
I have a question. Oh, you know what I have to say is, after watching that and hearing it, I've seen a lot of web series, and a lot of web series I can't watch because
Yeah.
it's a couple of people. Look, bless their hearts that they get out there with
yeah,
the camera and they
absolutely.
make them, and
Right.
they have fun doing it. I think you're taking this to another level, though.
Yeah.
It's a whole new level of web series. It's a serious one where you're looking for serious writers. You've got some serious characters, and you've got this planned out. How long is each episode then?
Well,
They're going to vary.
Right now the first 4 are going to vary in length, but we want to keep them between 35 minutes and 45 or
So they're
50
going to be
minutes.
actually quite
Yeah,
long.
they're
talking,
yeah.
what do they call that? A featurette.
Yes, yeah,
They're
yeah.
more like a featurette.
They're pretty lengthy.
Close to it.
Yeah. If the first one was a feature film, it would be about 2 hours and a half, but we're breaking up into 4 episodes, so it's going to be about 35 to 45 minutes.
Wow.
each.
So you're going to have to find a platform to actually release these on. That's a
Sure.
good idea.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And so they're longer than like a very short web series.
Well, here's a question. With the coming of the 4K TVs, which are becoming very popular, the 4K cameras, they're not shooting too much 4K stuff yet.
You're right. Exactly.
And what they need is 4K content for the 4K TVs so that
Right.
people can actually see the power of the 4K TVs. Have you thought about going with the 4K
We-
in the future? Because if you're launching a web series and it's 4K,
Right.
people are like, honey, I want to watch a web. It looks so good on our TV.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, outside of that, being great stories.
Yeah, my thinking is that we will, about half of ours is shot on 4K with the Red camera, but the other half is shot at 1080. So
You can't.
I know, we can't. Yeah, it's not going to work.
All of a
but-
sudden, people watch the TV go, what the heck
exactly.
happened there?
So it's all going to be reduced to 1080 for the first
Do
4
that part
episodes.
with, just use the 1080 with Jan.
Yeah, yeah.
She's going to kill me when she hears I said that.
But no, I think going in the future, 4K is where we're going to go.
So what are a few things you learned making the web series or starting it?
Oh my gosh.
This has been a 12-year journey?
Yeah, the primary episodes for this I started writing a couple of years ago, but we have ideas that I put into this that I started 12 years ago.
Yeah,
in
but
fact,
they're
the
coming
feature
down,
film.
You're doing it.
Yeah, the feature film Unremembered that I did, that we started 10 years ago, that I released 5 years ago. There are ideas in that because we're bringing a character from that feature film into this play. That's the one played by Carla Mason, and that brings all the science fiction and physics and stuff from that into it. And I think that it really lends itself really well. So every good idea I've ever had in the last 12 years, I'm putting into this, and there's a lot of good ideas.
Well, if you can stretch out 4 seasons,
Sure.
and actually get 4K and get it on 4K, well, the rest we're going to have to come up with 4K networks too.
Right.
But that's
yeah.
going to be coming.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's not too long away.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Briefly describe the appeal that you think the exceptionals will have for audiences.
Well,
Exceptionals.
yeah, exceptionals. Yeah.
Briefly describe the appeal exceptionals will have for audiences.
There's a lot of appeal with this. We already know that superhero genre fiction is popular, but I think there are a couple of things that we have that aren't typical in superhero genres. One is that our stories are about people with abilities that are real or real seeming,
but
not just really over the top powers.
I like the fact because they're actually characters. It's actually drama in it. There's relationship characters. A lot of the superhero things nowadays are a lot of
it's a lot
special
of effects. Exactly, and that's not where we're at.
And don't really do that much for me. When they've got some characters in it, there's
You
things
bet.
going on between them. There's drama.
You bet.
And there's relationships.
So
I
I
really
think-
are drawn into those.
Yeah, and I think that's the one. That's the
Good
one
for
key
you. I hope
thing
you're
we
starting
have.
out a great thing here with that.
Well, and the second thing is we have the primary characters are women in this. So that's one of our main target audiences are women, and women who like relationship stories like this. And I think that's a
And
that's a
there's
big
a lot
difference.
of them that like superheroes too.
You bet, absolutely, and there, that's a big difference. Most superhero things you watch are dominated by men. This one is dominated by women.
There you go.
Yeah.
A great change. What are your strengths as a filmmaker?
Well, as a filmmaker, my strengths, I think I'm really good at finding people and seeing the exceptional abilities in real people and bringing them and kind of convincing them to get on board with this. I'm really good, I think, assessing who will work in the team, and I think
That's important.
we've done a really good job with this. And,
'Cause
and I'm not.
one-
And the other thing is, it's a teamwork. It's teamwork.
sure
It's
is.
not just me. I mean, it's the group of people. And another thing I think it's really important, not just as a filmmaker, but as a manager or even just as a good human being, is to listen to other people and listen to their input and
Yeah.
take their input too. Because
Right.
if you try to do it alone, you'll never
You
get it
can't.
accomplished.
You can't do a project like yours. You'll
Exactly.
never get anywhere if you try and micromanage or take care of it all
Exactly.
yourself.
Well,
can't.
you'll lose people and they'll get frustrated and they won't
And
want
you want them
help.
to stay for 5 years.
You bet.
You do.
Absolutely. You bet.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
What are your weaknesses as a filmmaker? Come on, I know.
I'm sure I have many.
It's good that you're vulnerable to talk about them. Though.
Yeah.
That means that you're able to deal with your weaknesses.
Sure, and I'm not the most creative person in the world setting up shots or framing or whatever. I think my stuff, it tends to be fairly standard looking, nothing too radically unusual.
Okay.
But I think it's good. I think another weakness I might have is that sometimes I do get a little too micromanaging, and I do need to step back.
Okay.
Also, I don't eat very much when I'm on set, and
that
some
right?
people have told me, you're going to get cranky if you don't eat. So,
Are you hangry? Is that what they call it?
yeah, exactly.
The hangry type
yeah,
guy?
Yeah. So, but ultimately, though, I think the best strength you can have is to recognize your weaknesses, and at least I recognize my weaknesses, and I have so many of them. Yeah.
Right. We know. I was going to ask, how does your film or your web series differentiate itself from others?
Right.
One thing is it's being shot in more than one location.
You bet.
It's got superhero characters and mostly women.
Right.
And it's being done real well. It's being written well. It's not going to be a 5-minute, 10-minute episode. They're 40
No.
minutes. They're
They're
feature-
long. Yeah.
What other
yeah.
things can differentiate it that we haven't talked about?
Well, it's pretty heavily drama oriented, and there's a lot of dialogue on it, and there isn't as much action, but when we're filming it at a low budget that we're at right now, that makes more sense. But I really like to work the dialogue and work the drama parts of it, and I really let the actors
Okay.
flesh it out and deal with the intricacies of their characters, and even play around with some of the dialogue too, and even improvise some of the dialogue as well. So
you're not stuck on the words.
no, and they love that. It gives them a little bit of room to breathe, and it allows us, because we're not set on an exact amount of time that we're worrying about.
Okay,
We're
yeah.
able to go a little bit
Yeah.
longer on scenes than
Well, because it takes
Yeah.
a long time to make film.
exactly.
Or
yeah,
even web
yeah,
series.
Yeah.
Who is your favorite A-list director?
I thought about that question. I've been asked that question before, and I can't think of an individual. I really like directors who have a reputation of working well with their cast and crew professionally, and they plan very well. And I really like films where the storyline is clear and it's well done. And if I watch a movie and I'm thinking about the mechanics of it, I know they have not succeeded.
Yes.
But when I can ignore the mechanics and get into the story, I know the director succeeded. And I don't know. There's a lot of directors that I appreciate, and then they're not always 100% either. Some of their films are better than others.
I watch it's great films I get drawn into.
You bet.
But then I watch them usually a second time because I want to learn what I'm like. Okay, now I'm going to pick this apart and look at some of the camera angles and camera work that they did.
Yeah.
I did that with this movie called Stoker. They did a one shot in that thing. People are always talking about the one shot.
Yeah.
They're gonna have a hard time beating the one in one shot.
Yeah.
There's also a film called The Russian Ark. Have you ever heard of it?
I have not. No, I haven't seen that.
90-minute one shot.
Oh my!
They didn't turn that camera off.
It's like theater.
And it went from room to room. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's
impressive. It was done in
Yeah.
Russia. So, what is your favorite film?
I thought about that question. I get asked that question too, and I honestly don't have a favorite. It depends on the time.
Okay.
And the favorite at the moment, boy, my problem is I'm not that big into feature movies anymore. I'm way more interested in series.
Are you?
And I think, I watch Game of Thrones and Walking Dead.
Well, I think that the writing and some of your acting and directing and cinematography on the new series is really phenomenal.
They're great.
John Truby even said that television writing is really, really far superior than some of the feature film writing.
It definitely is, and it's improved too. And now is the time to make series instead of just.
Especially if you
I
make
feel
one
like
in
if
4K.
you do, I feel like if you do a feature film, that's it, and you're done, and it's over, and But a series, it's rewatchable. It can get people over time. More people can get involved in it, and that to me is much more exciting.
Yeah. Actually, we're running out of time here at Portland Film Beat. I want to really thank Greg for coming here and talking about Exceptionals, the web series. Get a hold of him at his website. He's looking for writers. He's looking for an illustrator. He actually pays his actors and the people who work with them, which is something that's really not too often heard of. I want to thank Christo, Susan, and Philip, our assistant directors. Ellery is our director, and I want to thank my wife, who's the producer, Carol Poland. Thank you to everybody, and until next time on Portland Film Beat, shoot for the silver screen.